Welcome to the regular meeting of the Corporation of the Municipality of Central Elgin. Today is Monday, May the 11th. I would ask those who are joining us in the council chamber to please rise for the national anthem. Thank you.
Home and native land, true native love, in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, a true North, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep the land, glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
The Municipality of Central Elgin acknowledges that it is located on the land of the McKee Treaty that was signed by the Wyandot and Anishinaabe nations, including ancestors of Chippewas of the Thames First Nation. It is also the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, Attawandaronk, and Mississauga Nation. These First Nations continue to provide ongoing stewardship of the land and waters in the Municipality of Central Elgin. Council, any disclosures of pecuniary interest, please? Seeing none, if I could get a mover and a seconder for the adoption of the minutes. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Bachman, thank you.
Mayor Sloan, the motion reads, moved by Deputy Mayor Noble, seconded by Councillor Bogman, that the minutes for the regular meeting of Council dated April 13th, 2026 be adopted.
Questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. Moving to the first of the public and drainage meetings. This is a meeting as required by the Drainage Act to afford any affected landowner an opportunity to make representation with respect to the final engineer's report for the Powers Drain number 1. A meeting for the Court of Revision regarding assessment will be scheduled at a later date, and notice will be mailed to the owner of every property that's been assessed into the subject drain. I'd like to introduce Brandon Widner, who's going to give us an overview. Mr. Widner, please.
So good evening, everybody. Tonight we have the Powers Drain number 1. So this drain is located essentially on Mapleton Line between Yarmouth Center and Highway 74. It was originally requested by the Davises, who operate K&R Davis Farms. They requested an improvement of the main drain. I don't know if we can bring a plan up. So this is an existing tile drain. It was installed over 2 previous reports. You know, they're looking for a replacement. It was rather old. Essentially, the main drain consisted of, it runs from an existing creek all the way up to Mapleton Line. Currently, the Davises are experiencing problems in the north half of their farm on just south of the woodlot of Mapleton Line. So we were appointed on this drain in February. Sean with the municipality, we had a site meeting February 19th. At that meeting, a number of things came up. So obviously, since the last drainage report on this project, Mapleton Line has been improved probably 10 years ago. A number of owners are requesting improvements in that location as well. So following that meeting, we had additional requests come from, to summarize it, everybody. The Fosters. Again, there's a branch for Davises for the other farm on Mapleton. There's a branch for Mr. Taylor on Mapleton Line, and then there's a house severed out of the Bice property when Yarmouth or Mapleton Line was reconstructed. There was some ditching done to try to alleviate flooding, but there's flooding on the east side of that residential lot, as well as there's flooding in that residential lot. So the Bices have initiated a branch, as well as Mrs. Hughes. So I guess in some shape or form, everybody is signed for something on this drain. Now, one thing I will say, the Davises initiated this. They farm essentially most of the land in the watershed. Most of where the drain going is currently in the wheat. So their anticipation was to build it this year. But to summarize that, we have about 2,100 meters of pipe from 21 inch down to 8 inch. In this project, there is one road bore underneath Mapleton Line. So that's where your township assessment's coming from. This is approximately a $350,000 project. So we did have another preliminary meeting on this in April, I believe April 11th, and this report was issued in April 17th. So the only thing I have heard from the owners to date is, again, they would like this completed once the wheat's off, which would be August, September. That being said, that's a challenge because we do need to get this tendered sooner than later. I have told the owners, that might be difficult, but again, they've reached out again to, I guess today, and emailed and said, is there any way we can expedite this project? I know in the past, the municipality has tendered a drain before the quarter revision for 7th Ave, for instance. I don't know if we can do that process again. And then at least try to get the tendering process completed because I don't foresee any appeals. I don't believe any of the owners are here tonight. 2 of them did contact me, but they're busy in the fields. But I'm happy to answer any questions if there is any. This is a pretty straightforward drainage project from our end, but yeah, it's still a large project. There's a number of branches.
Thank you, Mr. Widner. Ms. Leach, have you received any appeals to the proposed drainage project?
Mr. Mayor, I have not.
Council, any questions for Mr. Widner, starting with Councillor Watson?
Through you, Mayor, to Mr. Widner. It seems like there's a lot of wheat there and it'd be a lot easier to do it after the wheat's off, right? And the crops will change next year. So what can we do to help you expedite this tendering process? I talked to the one owner and he would like to see it done. So it only makes sense to do it now because next year you'd have to pay for crop damage going forward. So it might be a little bit cheaper if we did it now. So what can we do?
Well, we pay damages regardless, but the suggestion is we tender it. Some municipalities, we tender it prior to the quarter revision, you award after. If there's no appeals, we can award it after. Now, realistically, I'll be honest, I know most of these landowners, they are my neighbors. They haven't come to the meeting tonight. We've kind of worked with them through the process. The Davises have did drains with the municipality 2 or 3 years ago, the Patton drain. They understand the process. But yes, we got this project in February. We're here today with a final report. So I've did everything I can to speed it up. We did have a number of requests come in early April, which they should have went through council for all the branches. But yeah, other than that, I can't speed my end up anymore.
Councillor Watson.
Yeah, through you, Mayor. Our drainage engineer, Sean, can we speed this up some way, shape, or form? Thank you.
I don't know that Sean's here. Mr. Brooks, did you want to speak for?
Sure. Through you, Mayor Sloan. I believe staff can get moving on preparing a tender in order to get that one moving and close that, have that one closed sometime in and around the quarter revision, which should allow us to award the tender once the 3rd reading of the bylaw is read, just beyond the appeal period. So that's likely maybe 2 months from now.
Thank you. Any other questions from council? Any questions from any members of the public? Ms. Leach, do we have anyone online?
Your worship, I don't see any online attendees.
Everyone has been given a fair opportunity to express their views regarding the engineer's report. If there are no further questions, please be advised that any person wishing further information on the actions of council regarding the Powers Drain number 1 should email info@centralelgin.org or call the municipal office. Minor variance 44339 Dexter Line. Ms. Leach, what method of notice and when was the notice given to the public for this meeting, please?
Mr. Chair, as per requirements of the Planning Act, notice was mailed by regular post to every owner of land within 60 meters of the subject land and applicable agencies on April 30th, 2026. Notice was physically posted to the property by municipal staff and also posted to the municipal website.
Thank you. If the applicant or agent is in attendance and wishes to come forward, they may do so now. Ms. Leach, any written submissions regarding the proposal other than from our friends at Kettle Creek?
Your worship, we did also hear from Southwestern Public Health with no objection to the content of the application as it currently stands. And as well from Kettle Creek Conservation Authority with confirmation that portions of the property are affected by natural hazard regulations under the Conservation Authorities Act. But based on review of the site plan submitted in support of the application, the proposed ADU is located outside of KCCA's regulation limit. Therefore, approval from KCCA prior to development is not required.
Thank you. Any questions from the committee? Any questions from anyone in the gallery or anyone online, Ms. Leach?
Seeing none, your worship.
Thank you. Everyone's been provided a fair opportunity to be heard. All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. Those wanting to be notified of the committee's decision should contact the municipality. Minor variance 8590 Centennial Road. Ms. Leach, what method of notice and when was the notice given to the public, please?
Mr. Chair, as per requirements of the Planning Act, notice was mailed by regular post to every owner of land within 60 meters of the subject land and applicable agencies on April 30th, 2026. Notice was physically posted to the property by municipal staff and also posted to the municipal website.
Thank you. If the applicant or agent is in attendance and wishes to come forward to explain, please do so now. Any questions from members of the committee? Ms. Leach, any communications or submissions regarding the proposal, please?
Mr. Chair, through you to the committee, correspondence was received from Southwestern Public Health with no objection to the content of the application as it currently stands.
Thank you. Any questions from members of the gallery? Online? Doesn't look like it. Everyone's been provided a fair opportunity to be heard. Colleagues, all those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. Those wanting to be notified of the committee's decision should contact the municipality. This let's see. Okay, 155 Maud Street, minor variance. Ms. Leach, what method of notice and when was the notice given to the public for the meeting, please?
Mr. Chair, as per requirements of the Planning Act, notice was mailed by regular post to every owner of land within 60 meters of the subject land and applicable agencies on April 30th, 2026. Notice was physically posted to the property by municipal staff and also posted to the municipal website.
Thank you. And the applicant or agent wishes to speak to this. Any written submissions regarding the proposal, please?
Mr. Chair, correspondence was received from Southwestern Public Health confirming no objection to the content of the application as it currently stands, and also from Kettle Creek Conservation Authority with confirmation that based on mandatory programs and services, the KCCA has no objection to the approval, and that the subject lands are affected by regulations under the Conservation Authorities Act, whereby written permission is required of KCCA prior to any development.
Thank you. Questions from the committee? Questions from the public? Everyone has been provided a fair opportunity to be heard. All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. Those wanting to be notified of the committee's decision should contact the municipality. This meeting of the Committee of Adjustment is adjourned at 6:15. Official plan amendment and zoning bylaw amendment, 0 East Road. Ms. Leach, what method of notice and when was notice given to the public for the meeting, please?
Mr. Mayor, as per requirements of the Planning Act, notice was mailed by regular post to every owner of land within 120 meters of the subject land and applicable agencies on April 21st, 2026. Notice was physically posted to the property by municipal staff and also posted to the municipal website.
Thank you. Mr. Andrews, our planner, is present. Let's hope. I've got Mark to explain. Sorry? Hi. How are you? Good, thanks. I thought we'd get our planner, but you must be with. Okay, and your name, please? Okay, Ms. Schninke, I'm just going to have you turn on your microphone.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Emily Schnicke. I'm a planner with Monteith Brown Planning Consultants, and I'm here this evening with my colleague Eric Steele and Julian Novick from Wastel Homes to present the proposed official plan amendment and zoning bylaw amendment to facilitate a mixed-density residential development on the lands municipally known as 0 East Road, Port Stanley. Next slide, please. The subject lands are approximately 8.23 hectares of vacant residentially designated lands with lot frontage along East Road and Sunset Road, currently occupied by cultivated agricultural field with significant heritage features along the northerly site boundary. Surrounding land uses include natural heritage features and commercial uses to the north, the Port Stanley Water Tower to the south, and established low-density residential development to the east, south, and west. The proposed development will increase the available housing supply, promote the efficient use of land and infrastructure, and propose development that is compatible with existing and adjacent land uses while providing a mix of housing densities to the community of Port Stanley. The proposed residential uses include 32 single-detached dwellings on lots 1 to 32, 61 street townhouses on blocks 33 to 42, and a maximum residential density of 75 units per hectare on block 43. Please note that the requested number of units on block 43 was increased as a result of our second supplementary submission currently under review by staff. This would ultimately increase the total number of units on the subject lands to 178 units. The 32 single-detached lots are located along the northwestern and northeastern portion of the subject lands, adjacent to the single-detached homes in the Sunset Bluffs subdivision. The 10 street townhouse blocks are centrally located on the subject lands and adjacent to East Road. And the proposed medium-density block is proposed within the southeast corner of the subject lands. No development is proposed to occur within the natural heritage and hazard block along the northeastern property line. And the stormwater management block is proposed in the southwest corner of the subject lands. To facilitate the proposed development on the subject lands, we are requesting a site-specific official plan amendment to permit medium-density residential uses to have direct access onto local roads instead of requiring direct access onto an arterial or collector road. The subject lands are currently zoned open space 2, special zone 53. To facilitate the proposed development, we are requesting to rezone the subject lands to site-specific residential 1 for the single detached dwellings on lots 1 to 32, site-specific residential 2 for the street townhouse blocks on blocks 33 to 42, and a site-specific residential 2 for the medium-density residential block. The stormwater management and natural hazard and heritage block will be rezoned to a site-specific open space 3. The following figure demonstrates the proposed zoning amendment. Thank you.
Thank you. Are we getting, because on my notes here, we have our planner speaking.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Leach, have you received any written submissions on the proposal?
Your worship, correspondence was received from Southwestern Public Health in support of the proposal, from Lake Huron and Elgin Area Water Supply System indicating no concerns, and from Don West Custom Homes indicating that they own property directly to the north of the subject property, and their opposition to the sanitary servicing detail as currently proposed.
Thank you. Questions from council? Councillor Griffin.
Thank you. Through you. Is there more information about the nature of that opposition to the sanitary servicing?
Ms. Leach?
Through you, your worship, I believe the original correspondence was circulated to council earlier this afternoon with the full letter from Don West. And they provide substantial detail in relation to the opposition.
Councillor Graham.
I saw that it was provided through the chair to Ms. Leach. I saw that it was provided late this afternoon, but didn't have a chance to read it. So if someone who has reviewed it can give us a few more details on what the opposition is about, it would be appreciated.
Jeff, sorry, Mr. Brooks. First of all, Jeff, is Mr. Andrews here?
Yes. Mr.
Oh, okay.
Adams is here.
So we've got some questions. So are you going to take them?
I'll handle the
Great.
sanitary sewer
Great, Chief, sir.
servicing
Thank you.
question. So the essentially around the complaint was that a number of years ago, a council report was taken to council in 2015 that provided a framework for cost sharing of sanitary sewers up on East Road. In that report, it showed some sanitary servicing coming through the subject property and ultimately providing an outlet to the other proponents' property to the north. So essentially connecting through this subject property. The subject property has not provided a sanitary sewer stub through that property. And it's our understanding that the two developers had tried to work out a cost sharing arrangement between the two of them and weren't able to agree to any kind of a compensation framework to provide a sanitary sewer stub to the property directly to the north.
Follow up, please, Councillor.
So what's the answer to that, Mr. Brooks?
The answer, I guess there is still the ability for that proponent to the north to connect in through. And perhaps we can take another shot at working with the two developers to see if there is some kind of an agreement that can take place in order to ensure that they provide a sanitary sewer outlet to the property to the north. Again, the property to the north is still able to be serviced. It just would be a longer route to get there.
Any other questions from the council? Any questions from members of the public? Anyone online, Ms. Leach, that wishes to speak?
I have no online attendees.
Thank you. Everyone has been given a fair opportunity to be heard. Any person wishing further information of the actions of council regarding the passing of a bylaw on the proposed amendment should contact the municipality. Any amendment to the bylaw will be considered at a future meeting of council. Thank you. Zoning bylaw amendment for 410 Sunset Drive. Ms. Leach, what method of notice and when was the notice given to the public for the meeting, please?
Mr. Mayor, as per requirements of the Planning Act, notice was mailed by regular post to every owner of land within 120 meters of the subject land and applicable agencies on April 21st, 2026. Notice was physically posted to the property by municipal staff and also posted to the municipal website.
Any written submissions on the proposal, Ms. Leach?
Your Worship, correspondence was received from Kettle Creek Conservation Authority confirming no objection to the proposal and that the subject lands are not affected by natural hazard regulations under the Conservation Authorities Act.
Questions from council? Questions from any members that are, or people that are in the audience or online? Anyone, Ms. Leach? No, a question? Please come forward. If you could just press the button for the microphone and state your name for us. Thank you very much.
I represent the applicant. So thank you, and through you. Good evening, members of council, municipal staff, members of the public. My name is Taylor Whitney, planner with Zelenka Priamo Limited, and I'm joined today by my colleague Matt Campbell, partner with Zelenka Priamo. We're the planning consultants for Quincy Developments, the landowners of 410 Sunset Drive. First, I would like to thank municipal staff for their work on this project. We've had the opportunity to review the report that they've provided, and we appreciate and agree with their analysis that the application is consistent with the PPS and the official plan. We're here today to provide a brief overview of the history of these lands and the proposed zoning bylaw amendment application. Next slide, please. The proposed ZBA relates to the lands at 410 Sunset Drive. I'm sure everyone in this room is familiar with these lands, considering they're the neighbor to the north of the building that we're in today. A large portion of these lands are vacant. The existing X-shaped building and parking area are occupied by the King's Academy Private School. Next slide, please. Most of you are likely familiar with the history of these lands, but I'll provide a brief overview for anyone who may not be aware. The lands are within the Norman Lindale settlement area and are designated residential in the Central Elgin Official Plan as a result of an Ontario Land Tribunal decision in 2024. Following the tribunal decision, the applicant submitted a zoning bylaw amendment application to permit residential uses on the lands consistent with the residential designation. This zoning bylaw amendment application was approved, permitting a 6-story mixed-use apartment building and townhouses on the lands. Next slide, please. As mentioned, the lands are within the Norman Lindale settlement area within the Central Elgin Official Plan and are designated residential. The permitted uses under the official plan are listed here and include residential uses such as townhouses and a mixed-use apartment building, along with small-scale commercial uses that could be located on the ground floor of the mixed-use building. Next slide, please. The lands are within a site-specific residential zone, which was implemented on the lands to be consistent with the official plan land use designation, and the existing zoning permits the mixed-use apartment building and townhouse uses. Next slide, please. The zoning bylaw amendment application before you today seeks to permit a new residential use on the subject lands, being back-to-back stacked townhouses. The existing zoning permits a range of townhouses on the lands already, including street townhouses and stacked townhouses. However, the Township of Yarmouth zoning bylaw does not have a definition for back-to-back stacked townhouses, and therefore they're not a permitted use anywhere within the township simply because the use does not exist in the zoning bylaw. This application seeks to include a new definition in the zoning bylaw for back-to-back stacked townhouses and permit them on this site. And for those who may not be familiar with the back-to-back stacked townhouse form, it's essentially 2 stacked townhouses that share a rear wall. Each unit will still have individual surface level access. There is no proposed increase in the permitted residential density on the lands as a result of this new use, and no other zoning regulations are proposed to be amended. This application simply seeks to permit an alternative form of townhouse-style housing on lands where residential townhouses are already permitted. I'm available and happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thanks, Ms. Whitney. I did ask for questions before from council, but we'll ask again. Seeing none? Everyone has been provided a fair opportunity to be heard. Any person wishing further information on the actions of council regarding the passing of a bylaw and the proposed amendment should contact the municipality, and the amendment to the bylaw will be considered a future meeting of council. Thank you. Moving right on to correspondence. Requiring action. Number 1, a letter from, never know how to pronounce it, Delaney Leach, the Secretary of the BIA, with recommendation for an appointee to fill a board vacancy. Mover and a seconder, please. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Griffin.
Mayor Sloan, the motion for that is moved by Deputy Mayor, Deputy Mayor Noble, seconded by Councillor Griffin, that Michael Jordan be appointed to the Port Stanley BIA Board of Management for the 2022-2026 term.
Questions or comments? Councillor Graham, please.
Through the chair to the clerk, was the vacancy advertised to all BIA members to allow for a fair chance for everyone to?
Your worship, through you to Councillor Graham, this particular vacancy was not publicly circulated, but as previously mentioned to council, they have been in the past with limited response. So my understanding is that current BIA board members have taken a different approach to filling the vacancy through reaching out directly to BIA members.
Councillor Graham again, and then Councillor Noble, Todd Noble, rather, Deputy Mayor.
Okay, just so I have it clear, other times all the BIA members were asked, but this time the BIA members were not asked to allow for a fair chance for everyone to apply?
As was previously mentioned, the BIA in the past has issued public callouts when vacancies occur. Most recently, they indicated at their annual general meeting that vacancies existed on the board. And anytime the BIA hosts public events, they note that there are vacant positions and try and encourage recruitment that way. Anyone who's interested in joining the board is always able to contact the chair or contact myself, the secretary, in order to attend a future meeting and indicate that interest to the board.
I have the deputy mayor. Or do you want one more and then go ahead?
So how are members to be notified that there is a vacancy if they're not attending any of the meetings, as the majority do not? Just like the majority of residents don't here, but we advertise for these positions as well.
May I ask?
To Councillor Graham, there is not a procedure for the BIA in order to fill vacancies. As was indicated to the attendees at the annual general meeting, it is highly unusual for there to be this many vacancies in a term of the BIA Board of Management. The current procedures outlined in the BIA establishing bylaw indicate that council has the final authority to determine appointees to the board. There is no guidance about how that recommendation comes up through to council.
Deputy Mayor.
Through Mayor, the BIA has been very vocal as to the need for members on their board, and it's been an ongoing issue. So if somebody that is a BIA member felt that they didn't get notified, they're kind of not paying attention. And I guess is the best way to say it, because it's been very well voiced. It was voiced at the AGM. I've talked to a lot of people. I know others on the BIA. I've talked to a lot of people and let them know that the BIA needs members. So when somebody shows interest, we're happy to bring them to council and have a vote to appoint them.
Thank you, Councillor Griffin, and then Councillor Graham, please.
Thank you. My question had been whether there was any statement in the terms of reference requiring a certain procedure, and Ms. Leach just finished covering that very well.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Graham.
I don't agree, through the chair, I don't agree with the deputy mayor's statement that people aren't paying attention. First of all, I think that's insulting to our BIA members, and I take offense to it as well. There are multiple people that have approached me just today, realizing that they weren't advertised and that they weren't notified through the BIA. So I would recommend that the BIA draft a policy that provides specific procedures on how they notify BIA members for any vacancies on the board moving forward.
Thank you. I have Councillor Griffin and then the Deputy Mayor, please.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Graham. Has any of those people asked that you offer their name as an alternative nomination tonight?
There were 3 of them that came forward and said they were interested, but they didn't specifically ask me to provide their names.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, please.
Through you, Mayor, did they reach out to the BIA and give us a heads up that they were interested?
Councillor.
They found out this afternoon when they looked at the agenda, when I pointed it out to them, they looked at the agenda. Again, if they had noticed previously, just like you put through an email for the AGM meeting for the BIA, so you have everybody's email, you could just notify them that there's a vacancy on the board. But we really should, I would suggest, perhaps the CAO should chime in on this about having a policy and procedure in place for this.
Mr. McLeod.
Typically for replacements on committees, if there are terms of reference, it would specify how recruitments are supposed to be taking place. I don't know enough about the BIA to say why it hasn't happened in the past, so I really can't comment, other than it is good practice to have a recruitment policy.
Thank you. Questions or comments further? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. Thank you. Requiring action, item number 2, notice for the Earth Corporation Annual General Meeting on June the 4th. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Bachmann, Councillor Griffin, thank you.
Your worship, at this time, the recommendation has a bit of a blank. So this is to appoint a member of council to serve as the voting delegate for the Earth Corporation Annual General Meeting to be held on June 4th, 2026 at the Earth Power Corporation office in Ingersoll.
Sure. I thought we were just going to move in second, and then I'll ask these good folks if anyone wishes to go. Is that okay?
Yes, sir. Just clarifying to the group
Okay.
that the motion is a blank at this point.
Okay. So who'd like to go to the Earth Power meeting? Got Councillor Graham, Councillor Griffin, and Councillor Bachman. How many attendees are we allowed? I read the invitation and it said that anyone that sits on a council is a director level. So is there any issue with more than one going, or what does council wish to do? Councillor Griffin.
Through you, my understanding is that as many of us as would like may attend. It's just which of us will be the voting member at the time.
Okay. Is that fair? Now, I think that we have to serve, one of you has to choose to be the voting delegate, and we're going to choose that right now. So I've got 3 councillors that have requested. Who wishes to be the voting delegate, please? Councillor Bachman, Councillor Graham.
I've been our voting delegate before. I'm happy to allow someone else if they would like.
Okay, Councillor Graham.
I think Councillor Bachman I think you and I went last year and you were the voting. So if you're okay with me doing it, that would be great.
Very good. We have 3 going, and we have Councillor Graham who will be the voting delegate. Now that we're going to fill that in, can I get a mover and a seconder, or can I redo it for a mover and a seconder, Delaney?
Your worship, we currently have a mover and seconder, so the blank in the motion is now filled in with Councillor Graham be appointed to serve as the voting delegate.
All those in favor? Opposed, and that's carried. Thank you very much. Receive for information. We have 4 items. Minutes from the Heritage Central Elgin, minutes from the Fort Stanley Band Shell Committee, minutes or Integrity Commissioner's Annual Report, Integrity Commissioner Members' Use of Social Media Information Bulletin. Could I get a mover and a seconder, please? Deputy Mayor, Councillor Connors, thank you.
Mayor Sloan, the motion reads, moved by Deputy Mayor Noble, seconded by Councillor Connors, that correspondence items number 1 to 4 be received for information.
Questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. On to reports. First report, Transport Canada divestiture of the Port Stanley Harbour. Over to you, Mr. McLeod. But before that, I'm going to get a mover and a seconder. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Bachman, thank you.
Mayor Sloan, the motion reads, moved by Deputy Mayor Noble, seconded by Councillor Bachman, that bylaw 2026-40 be adopted in order to facilitate the divestiture of Port Stanley Harbour per report CAO 1526.
Mr. McLeod.
Certainly, Mr. Mayor, I would just leave it open for questions from council if there are any.
Okay. Council, questions on the report? Seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. Thank you. CAO 1626 procedural bylaw amendments. Mover and a seconder, please. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Griffin, thank you.
Mayor Sloan, the motion reads, moved by Deputy Mayor Noble, seconded by Councillor Griffin, that bylaw 2026-38 be adopted to amend the procedural bylaw per report CAO 1626, and that the 2026 council meeting schedule be amended by changing the date of the June meeting from June 15th, 2026 to June 22nd, 2026.
Questions or comments? Councillor Griffin, please.
I just want to say thank you so much to Mr. McLeod for the additional reading day that this will make for us.
Councillor Graham.
Through the chair, I'd like to request that it be released on a Tuesday. If we're moving the June meeting from June 15th to June 22nd, my understanding from the CAO was that it was difficult, or the staff would have to be playing a little bit of catch up for the reports. But if we're delaying it by 7 days, it would seem that it would be okay to start having it on the Tuesday. Because again, people that work full time, even when you're releasing it on the Wednesday, that only gives us an extra 1 day. But on Tuesday, it would seem to be ideal.
Mr. McLeod.
So staff have adjusted their work schedules. We did send it out to all the staff to try and get our reports in as soon as possible. It does condense the time period, even though we do have long lead time. The amount of work that goes in the reports, scheduling meetings to get them reviewed by senior staff, we could likely go a little bit sooner on the Wednesday. I know it doesn't help much, but it does make it difficult to get those reports out in that time frame.
Compromise for Wednesday instead of Thursday, is that fair? I'm happy to work with that. I'm sorry? Oh, right, because Wednesday to Thursday. Apologies. Well, I'll have to defer to Mr. McLeod and the clerk.
I would look to the clerk to see if it's possible Wednesday at noon.
Your worship, through you to council, just noting that there is a motion on the floor currently for as is. I would recommend that council vote on that motion to determine its will, and further amendments could be made from there.
Good point. Thank you, Councillor Griffin.
I think this extra day that we're gaining is already very useful for doing our homework. Would it not be acceptable for us just to try it out this way with that additional day for reading? And if people are still finding that that's problematic for them and we need to come back and look for more, then we can come back and revisit.
Thank you. Councillor Graham.
We're changing a bylaw, so we might as well only change it once, right? So again, if you think about it, we're already pushing, we're giving staff an extra 7 days in June. This is when it will start in June. We're giving staff an extra 7 days in June because our meeting was going to be on the 15th and now it's going to be on the 22nd. So then once they're in that rotation, they'll still have a month from the Tuesday of the June 22nd meeting until the Tuesday of the next month's meeting. So it doesn't seem like there should be any, once you're in that loop, there doesn't seem like there should be any difference between 1 month of Thursday to Thursday, 1 month of Tuesday to Tuesday. So I would request that we do an amendment to the motion.
Thank you. Of the Deputy Mayor and Councillor Griffin.
Through you, Mayor, just keep in mind that it wasn't that long ago we had a meeting almost every week when we were busy doing some of the hospital lands. So that also comes into play with some of this stuff. So I'm pretty happy with having it moved up 1 day, and I think that's a fair compromise. And as the Councillor Graham had said, we have one meeting in June coming up, but that's not the norm going forward. Often we can have 2 or 3, or like I say, we had 5 in a row every week for 5 weeks. So I'm comfortable with the staff's proposal.
Thank you, sir. I've got Ms. Leach she's going to get me about the amendment again, right?
Sorry. We have an amendment moved by Councillor Graham. We just need a seconder for that.
Is there a seconder for Councillor Graham's amendment to change it 1 day earlier? There is not. So back to the original. I have a mover and a seconder, correct, Ms. Leach?
That's correct. Moved by Deputy Mayor Noble, seconded by Councillor Griffin.
All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. Thank you. CAO 1726, the Hospital Lands Project Update. Mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Bachmann, Deputy Mayor Noble.
Mayor Sloan, the motion reads, moved by Councillor Bachmann, seconded by Deputy Mayor Noble, that report CAO 1726 be received.
Questions or comments about Mr. McLeod's update? All those in favor? And that's carried. Director of Planning and Engineering Services, DPE 2726, Pleasant Valley Bridge. Mover and a seconder, please. Deputy Councillor Watson, Councillor Connors. Thank you.
Mayor Sloan, the motion reads, moved by Councillor Watson, seconded by Councillor Connors, that staff be directed to request a minimum of 3 quotations from reputable structural engineering firms for the rehabilitation of the Pleasant Valley Line Bridge.
Questions or comments? Deputy Mayor.
Through you, Mayor, I have a procedural question, because we had a motion on the floor a while ago to tender these out for this Pleasant Valley. So I'm just, I don't understand the procedure on this. If I could get clarification, because this, I believe that motion was passed by council and put forward a while ago. So I'd like to see that followed up on.
Okay, Mr. McLeod, do you someone want to take that one? Because Mr. Brooks.
Through you, Mayor Sloan, it was my understanding through the last council report that council was directed staff to come back on how we would move this project forward with rehabilitation rather than a rebuild of the bridge. So that's exactly what staff have presented here. Staff believe the most prudent way forward would be to get 3 prices from engineers to do a detailed design. And then once the detailed design is complete with a set of specifications, we would tender the project to a contractor.
Mr. McLeod. Thanks, Mr. Brooks.
So with this project, in order to get this out as quickly as possible, we would need to have the engineering RFPs close very quickly, and we can wrap that up by the end of June, we think. Going out right now for a bridge repair is not the best time. Many big contracts have already gone out. So by the time the engineering's done, we should be ready for a fall tender, which would hopefully get us a good price for the bridge. So timing right now is not great if council wanted to do something other than what's recommended by staff.
Questions or comments? I'm going to go to Councillor Watson and then back to the Deputy Mayor. Thank you.
Yeah, through you, Mayor. Just to address Council or Deputy Mayor's concern of the procedure not being followed, can we not maybe request as well a quotes to build a new bridge and see if that would be possible as well? Because it would be nice to prove what it would really cost down the road. If we could look into that as well to procedurally take care of Deputy Mayor's concerns.
So to answer the question, do you want to have Mr. McLeod or Mr. Brooks to take this? And then I have Councillor Griffin.
That matter was dealt with in closed session. We can't discuss the legal opinion was received, but it was dealt with in closed session about dual tenders.
While you're thinking there, Councillor Watson, Councillor Griffin.
Thank you. Through you, actually, to Councillor Watson. So based on the advice that we received and the fact that we're here looking for only one tender right now, are you suggesting that you would like us to amend the motion and start by looking for a tender for a replacement and then decide whether that's something we can afford?
Sir, go ahead, Councillor Watson.
Yes, to Councillor Griffin, you worded that so much better than I would. But yes, that's what I'm looking to do. They've gone a long time down there, and I would really like to prove one way or the other what that would cost us with a new bridge.
What are any comments, Mr. McLeod, on our Deputy Mayor?
Through Mayor, I kind of slide back into the procedural stuff that this council did make a decision to do the RFP for design, repair, design, build. And I know it's a little bit different, but it was our opinion at the time to get the best information to make a decision for the folks down there in Pleasant Valley. Pleasant Valley line. So I don't know if we can't just continue down that path that we started down when we made that motion, I think, which was like November-ish. Just looking for a little guidance on that one.
Councillor Griffin.
I hate to do this, but if I may call a point of order, it sounds as though Councillor Watson has suggested an amendment to this motion. Can we address that before we dive back into the rest of the procedural questions or other questions about the bridge?
I'm going to go to Mr. McLeod because I thought there were still discussions, but.
So there was a motion that council did give us direction in closed session at the last meeting to proceed on the basis of a repair, not a replace. That was direction given. And that's the genesis of this report tonight, is to proceed with the repair, not a replacement.
Councillor Watson.
Yeah, through you, Mayor. Could we hear what Councillor Griffin said again, maybe adding something to that, or we can't do that at all?
What is it well, Councillor Griffin, you would like to change this, right? Tell us what you would like to change it to. And you're asking for an amendment.
I guess we could look at doing a rehabilitation and we don't have to really necessarily accept it, right? And then maybe they've waited this long. Maybe we could go and say, no, we want a bridge, a new bridge. And then why can't we look at those options as well? They've waited this long. What's a little bit longer, right? Because it might just be the best bang for the buck going forward down there.
Okay. Mr. Brooks, thank you.
Through you, Mayor Sloan, I should clarify, this would be to go procure the services of an engineer. This is just going to get you a detailed design. It's not going to get you a final cost on what a bridge rehabilitation will be. The engineer will provide an engineer's estimate prior to tendering. And then once the design is complete, we will tender it to a contractor. That's when you will know what the exact price for a bridge is going to be. But until which time we have engineering specifications, we can't go to a contractor to tender out a project without specifications.
Deputy Mayor.
Through you, Mayor, to Mr. Brooks. So at what point would we find out if it was a better avenue and more cost effective to be a new bridge through this process that we're voting on tonight?
Through you, Mayor Sloan, that information was provided to council through the last engineering consultant that we had. They provided a number of different options, so we have that information in front of us. Based on that information, it's my understanding that council wanted to move forward with a rehabilitation, and that's what this report is based on.
Councillor Connors.
Through you, Mayor. To Mr. Brooks, there's been an assessment done by an engineer on a repair. Is that correct?
The last engineer consultant that we had on board provided a number of different options to council to consider between rehabilitation and replacement.
Okay, so we know we have options on the repair. And this goes back to what Mr. McLeod said a little while ago, but I'm not sure here. So is it possible to put out an RFP or a tender for a new bridge and a credit to go to just a repair defined by what the engineer identified?
I don't know that that would be practical.
Okay. Yeah, the opinions that were given were enclosed, so I think council's treading in a dangerous position here to disclose some of that in open.
My understanding, Mr. Brooks, is that this report from staff is just asking for approval for an engineering drawing. Is that correct? We're not talking about the RFPs. We're talking about an RFP for, not for the repair or reproduction of it, just for the engineering. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That's correct. Okay. So I think we should just vote on that if that's okay without any other discussion. If there's any other discussion, did anyone else want to make any comments? Okay.
Through you, Mayor, I'd like to amend it somehow, this motion, just to ask that we we're getting a request for rehabilitation, but also, can we get a quote for replacement too? I don't want to leave it open. I want to know either or. How do we do either or?
Mr. McLeod?
There was direction given to staff, so we'd take a motion of reconsideration to do something other than that was previously directed by council.
Councillor Griffin.
Just procedurally, I believe that all of us voted unanimously on that motion, which I believe means any one of us can move to reconsider if they'd like to. Do you need us to resolve the matter currently on the table before we do that reconsideration?
I may ask the clerk for some advice on that.
Your worship, through you to council and Mr. McLeod, there, as in the interest of treading carefully around closed session discussion, there was not a formal vote taken in closed session. There was a point reached of direction to staff at the conclusion of the discussion. In relation to the confidential report that accompanied that item.
Do you want to weigh in, Mr. McLeod? So we're going to call the vote. All those in favor?
Point of order.
Sure.
Before we, I'm sorry, before we go there, Councillor Watson had said that he would like to seek an amendment on this. A motion to amend does interrupt other things, so I think that we do have to resolve that. Do we have absolute confirmation then that what he's asking for can't be done, or what's happening? If it can't be done, then I understand that, but if what he's asking for can be done, then I think we do need to resolve it.
Defer to the CAO and the clerk.
Your worship, through you to Mr. McLeod and council, such an amendment would effectively supersede direction previously given by council. However, I would suggest that if a seconder is coming forward for such an amendment, then council could consider that in advance of the full recommended motion per the report.
Through you, then I would second it so that we can resolve it.
I'm going to ask Mr. McLeod. Okay.
To be clear, through your worship, to Councillor Watson, the amendment would be that the resolution be amended to, in addition to rehabilitation, for the rehabilitation and replacement of the Pleasant Valley Line Bridge.
Mr. Brooks, or go to Don.
I believe given that motion, it's appropriate for council to move into closed session.
Okay. I need a vote to go into closed. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. We're moving into closed.